Good morning, Class 8. So, we shall resume our chapter from where we had stopped last. Let us begin now with the third organ of the UN, that is the Economic and the Social Council, which in short is also known as the ECOSOC. All right. So, under the ECOSOC, you just need to remember that it has 54 members. Fine. And these members are elected by whom? They are elected by the General Assembly for 3 years. It is concerned with the cultural and humanitarian activities. So the ECOSOC, it is concerned with humanitarian activities. What does it mean? It means that the ECOSOC tries to bring provision of food, water, sanitation, shelter, and health facilities for the people who are affected with problem, and tries to get back the lives of the people to normal times. All right. So it basically tries to decrease suffering and save the lives of the people. So, this is the meaning of humanitarian. Is that clear? Now, its functions are diverse, ranging from removing illiteracy. We all know what is illiteracy, isn't it? It means when you are not literate, all right? When there's no literacy, there is no education. Secondly, well being of the children. So, its function is the well being of the children, meaning to say to take proper care of the children. Good health all over the world, improving status of the women. So, to uplift the status of the women, all right. Increasing employment opportunities and to control crime. It brings about coordination among the working together of organizations. So coordination means what? To bring about a kind of, you can say, a blend, okay, to blend the working together of organizations like the World Bank, the IMF, the ILO, FAO, WHO, and so on. So these are all the agencies of the UN. Just now, whatever I said, the IMF, the ILO, the FAO, these are all the agencies of the UN, which we will be dealing in detail in the next chapter of the civics portion. Clear? Now, it is a platform for creative thinking on sustainable development. So, the ECOSOC is also a platform for creative thinking on sustainable development. Now, sustainable development is a new term for you all. What does it mean? It simply means to use the present resources in such a way that the future generations can also enjoy it. All right. For example, petrol, coal, forest, etc. These should be used, by the people at the present moment very wisely, so that it can be used by the coming generation as well. So if we, overuse it or if we misuse it, then what is going to happen? The future generation will not even see, how coal looks like, or how forest would look like. All right. They would just be seeing it in photographs or books, just like how we see dinosaurs, in books at the moment. Moving on with the fourth organ, that is the Trusteeship Council. Its main aim was to cater to the needs of those nations which had been destroyed by war. So, those nations which had been damaged by war, all right, those nations would be taken care of or would be helped, okay, to come back to normal by the Trusteeship Council. Fine. Its functions are as follows. Number one is to promote the well being of the trustee territories. Now, what do you mean by trustee territories? Trustee territories are those regions which are controlled or governed by the trusteeship council of the UN. So they do not have the trustee territories, they do not have their own, you can say, government. All right. They are governed by this organ of the UN, which is the trusteeship council. Now, a little knowledge on the trusteeship council. There are 11 trustee territories. Few are the New Guinea, Nauru, and many more. Now we come down to the second function of the trusteeship council, to ensure the political, economic, social, and educational advancement leading to independence of the trustee territory in near future. So what does it mean? It means to make sure and bring about development in the educational, all right, in the education, sorry, social here meaning development relating to the society, advancement in the government, which is political, and raising standard of living, which basically means economy of the trustee territories. Fine. So these are the functions of your trusteeship council. Moving on with the next organ, that is the ICJ, or International Court of Justice. This is the only organ located in Hague in the Netherlands. It is the judicial branch, meaning it deals with the laws, rules, regulations, and providing justice. It consists of panel of 15 judges who are elected for 9 years by the General Assembly and Security Council. Please make a note here that all of these 15 judges come from different countries. The ICJ manages any kind of arguments and disputes which may involve any two or more nations on the basis of international law, which all member countries are to abide, respect, and follow. So we already know that all of the member nations, they have to abide and follow the rules, the international rules and the laws of the ICJ. All right. It is therefore called the World Court. So this ICJ, that is International Court of Justice of the UN, is also known as the World Court. Its functions are: number one, to decide legal matters between member states who go it for a decision. So let me explain this. It simply means to provide any legal help or advice if any of the UN organ asks for. All right. Secondly, you have to provide legal advice to any organ of the UN on request. As already said, it settles disputes. So any member nation who are having any problem go to the ICJ for decision and help. So these are the two most important functions of the ICJ. Moving on with the next one, that is the Secretariat. So the Secretariat is the last organ of the UN. It is the administrative department of the UN, which means to say that this is the organ where all the important activities and functions of the UN takes place. Its head is known as the Secretary General, who is there in the office for 5 years, and he is appointed by the General Assembly and Security Council. So, from here, we see that the General Assembly and the Security Council enjoy power with respect to appointments, isn't it? They are, appointing certain members of the particular organ, all right. And here also we see that the Secretary General, he is also appointed by the General Assembly and the Security Council. The following are the functions of the Secretariat. Now let us see what is it. Firstly, to administer peacekeeping operations. So time and again we have been understanding that the most of the organs of the UN, or the UN itself, is responsible for its main objective is to maintain peace, isn't it? So this is also one function of the Secretariat. Secondly, you have to survey economic and social trends and prepare reports. Okay, so this basically means it checks how a country is doing financially. All right, it means economic survey means how a country is doing financially and any type of activity that society participates as a whole. Secondly, to prepare studies on human rights and sustainable development. So sustainable development, we have already discussed what it is. Now it studies human rights. Now what does human right mean? It means the basic rights and the freedom that belong to every person from birth until death. It is based on fairness, equality, respect, and independence. So this is what human rights is. Okay. To mediate international disputes. So to mediate international disputes means to bring about peace. All right, or to solve international disputes. Is that clear? Now we come to India's support to the UN. Let us see what we have to study in this. Under this, we shall discuss that India is also a founder member of the UN, the first Indian woman to be the president of the UN General Assembly. Please, it is UN General Assembly, all right? It is not UN, it is UN General Assembly. One of the organs of the UN was Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit. Please highlight it. Many countries apart from India were under colonial rule and aggression of the other powerful nations. With this respect, India has extended a helping hand for the freedom movements of these countries like Indonesia, Bangladesh, Malaysia, etc. During wars, it has sent medical help to countries like Korea and many more. One of the major goals of the UN, apart from peacemaking, is also disarmament. Now, what is disarmament? It means to stop the use of arms and nuclear weapons, isn't it? So, India has played a major role in the policy of disarmament efforts of the UN. It has also raised a voice against apartheid government of South Africa. Now, apartheid may be a new term to some, so it means to be separated on grounds of race. Example, the blacks and the whites. This is a recent issue that is happening in the United States. I hope you all are aware of it. Now we come to the problems of the UN, the problems and the prospects. So far, the UN has been successful in achieving its major goals and objectives. However, there are some which still needs to be fulfilled. Wars have not been totally removed. Many wars have taken place after the Second World War, but with less damage. So the threat of a large mass war is always present. Are you understanding? The most important factor that many of the permanent members of the UN, I hope you all have not forgotten who they are, the permanent members of the UN. All right. They violate the UN Charter by possessing nuclear bombs. So they clearly defy the UN Charter, which actually needs to be adhered and respected. Moreover, it becomes difficult for the UN to get after them and persuade them to destroy these weapons. Why? Because the funds that is the income or the finance of the UN is supported by these countries. So that's why it becomes difficult, for the UN, to go after these countries and to tell them to destroy their weapons. All right. So this is the problem why they can't do it. Why? Because the money is being supplied from these nations only, these developed nations. Despite these failures, it has been successful in bringing about issues like drug abuse, which deals with the health hazards of the drugs, how youngsters are addicted to it, how it can be stopped. Gender abuse is another issue that it has been able to raise. Treating females unfairly or torturing the females by the male accounts to gender abuse. So the UN has been able to reduce this gender abuse prevalent in the society by formulating laws. Also, it has been successful in delivering rights to humans. Child labor has now been made illegal. Hence, it is important to have an international organization that seeks to promote the policy of free and a fair world. So, we have finished with this chapter. Class 8, the video and the extra mark presentation is more than enough for your understanding. Next, we shall move on to the chapter from Civics, which is the United Nations Agency. That is the continuation of this particular chapter, that is the United Nations only. All right. Thank you and good day to all of you.